Yo, what's up, guys? So, this is gonna be my review of Spider-Man 2, or I guess it's Marvel Spider-Man 2. Usually, whenever I do full playthroughs or I play a game that's newer, I try to do a review just because, I don't know, it might help somebody who's debating on whether to get this game or not. And we're gonna go ahead and just jump right into this. Unlike my other reviews that you've might have seen on this channel, like I did the Lies of P one and that one wasn't really scripted, but I have done, I think the Final Fantasy one, the Final Fantasy 16 one was scripted, and I'm not doing one of those. This time I just have bullet points and I'm just going to go through those and talk about that stuff first. Then I'm going to wing it. Sorry, I took a chug of Arizona. Alright. The first bullet point here I have is story. So the story in Marvel Spider-Man 2 I thought was decent. This may be a little biased though because I am a huge fan of Venom. And like symbiotes and everything that comes in that like bundle of comic book mythos, I guess. Also, real quick, before I forget, I will be talking about some spoilery stuff, so be wary of that. Don't expect this to be like spoiler free. I won't show any in the gameplay because I'll just use like trailer footage and stuff that you've already seen. But at certain points, I will be talking about like spoilery stuff, and I'll try to mention it ahead of time, so then you know if you want to like skip ahead or. But the story I thought was good. I didn't really care too much for the Kraven aspect because, like I said in my playthrough, I don't think Kraven's all that cool of a villain. I preferred the second half of the story, which was focused on Venom and the symbiote, and it was basically like it felt like the more meat and potatoes of the story than Kraven did. Kraven kind of felt like a side dish because they didn't really flesh him out. Like I guess you could have if you went and did like the tower hunts or like the drone hunts or the bases and stuff, but that just screams side content to me. More so than like the actual main story. The other thing I wanted to mention real fast was the length of the story. It took me about 22 hours with me playing on Spectacular for like 85% of that. I did switch it to like Amazing or whatever the fuck. I lowered the difficulty basically during some boss fights that I thought were kind of which will lead us into the next bullet point I have, which is the gameplay and difficulty. So I wasn't sure what was going on when I was playing the game, but there were definite times where the gameplay felt not polished. And I've seen other people say this as well, that like the dodging, the whatever the triangle button is, like the web zipping to people, the parry mechanic, and like everything that needs you to respond into some, like do to something else, like whether you're gonna get shot or like punched or attacked, you have to like respond. All of that stuff felt like it was made by the Lies of P team because it felt very delayed, and like when you press it, like it didn't go off right away, so then like there's room for error because you have to time it with like an internal like half-second delay or something, and that throws people off. And then I thought the difficulty was kind of bad. So the first game I played on the hardest difficulty available in the beginning, which was I think Spectacular, because they didn't add Ultimate till the like mid game patch or whatever. And Spectacular in that game, I never felt any issue with. Like, I didn't feel like anything was unfair. I didn't feel like anything was too tanky. I didn't feel anything was difficult just for being difficult. However, in this game, I feel like they did the difficulty kind of incorrectly. They just made everything like tanky as fuck and bullet sponges, and then like they made it so you get hit once and you lose like 80% of your health, and then on top of that they made it so focus you can no longer just heal whenever, you have to heal when you have a single bar, which is one of the gameplay things I didn't like for going from 1 to 2. I don't know how it was in Miles because I didn't play Miles. I was going to, but I saw like 3 people play it semi-recently and I didn't feel like playing it. So I'm strictly talking about from 1 to 2. The first game, I liked the fact that you could generate any amount of focus and then you could heal, and then it would give you proportional to what you had. So if you only had like 4% focus, you would only get like 3 HP gained. But if you had like 80% focus, you would get like 60% or whatever. I don't know the actual number, but I'm just saying that like it was proportional to what you used. In this, you basically had to get 1 full bar, and then it would give you like the giant chunk of, which I didn't like. I like the freedom of being able to decide if I want to heal at a given time versus having to wait 20 minutes to heal because the focus meter takes forever. That's another thing I can get into right now, is that the suit upgrades, which are like the increased health, increased damage, increased movement speed, increased focus gain, I felt like they didn't really do those things. Like from the beginning of the game to the end, I had 0 upgrades obviously in the beginning. And by the end of the game, when I had all the upgrades, I felt like there was no difference gained between focus generated. I don't know if that was a bug. That might have been, because I did run into like 20 bugs during my playthrough. I have it all logged and like recorded, so you can definitely tell when I had bugs happen, because I would point out like, why would they delay this game if they weren't gonna, you know, polish it and make sure it was working intendedly. So yeah, like it said in the suit upgrade part that like generates more focus from hitting enemies or whatever. I felt none of that. It still took like 35 hits to get 1 focus bar. So I'm not sure if that was intended. I think they should lower that and actually make it so that like upgrading your suit does mean something, because currently it means jack shit. Let's see, anything else about... Oh, yeah, there's the one moment when I think it was the first time I lowered the difficulty, was so spoiler alert. When you fight Kraven as the symbiote version of Peter. And by that I just mean like in the black suit. There's a part where he rings a bell and then it tells you to shoot the bell to like stop it. I did everything I tried to, like, I tried everything in my power to shoot and web up the bell. I mashed R1. I don't know if you can hear it when I was playing the game, but if you can, you'll hear me in the background mashing the fuck out of the controller, and it just not registering that I'm clicking R1. While the game is telling me on screen, make sure you web the bell or whatever, it just wouldn't work. And then on top of that, I was being attacked by Kraven at the same time. And then the bell stuns you, so it's like you're constantly getting stunned. And it's not like it's intervals of like every 2 seconds, it was like intervals of half a second. While the game is like screaming at you, oh, you need to web the bell, you need to web the bell, you need to web the bell. It's like, I can't do it when I'm being stunned every half a second, and I'm mashing the fuck out of R1 and it won't let me do it. So I don't know what that was. I don't know if that was a bug. Or if there's like a actual way you're supposed to do it. I think I did do it the next time after I had to restart and like I got defeated or whatever, so which makes me think it was a bug. And then I felt that a lot of the orange attacks, which are the ones that you have to parry, had weird timings. Like, I don't know if you're supposed to just hold L1 or if you're supposed to tap it. But I didn't find a consistent way to do it. It would just happen and I'd be like, oh, that works. And then there were other times where I think I would do the exact same thing and it wouldn't work. And I'd be like, oh, okay. Like, I don't... And then the purple attacks, the purplish blue ones that you have to dodge. There were times where I literally dodged out of the way and it still grabbed me and attacked me, even though I have one instance I remember. I don't remember when it was, but it was in the later half of the game where I remarked, wow, I can't believe I dodged that and it still grabbed me. So again, I'm not sure if that was a bug or, you know, that was intended. But yeah, I didn't think the difficulty was scaled all that well. I think the first game did a much better job at scaling difficulty. And it didn't just make it hard to be hard for no reason. He got away from us. The next bullet point I have here is costumes and skins. I just want to make it very clear. I thought the costumes and skins were a cop-out for like the MCU. Because they shove like, I think it was like a total of 8 fucking Tom Holland skins in the game. When they really don't look different. There's like one difference between all of them. And they made it a separate skin. Like, you have the one from Homecoming, his like classic red and blue. Then you have the other one from whatever the fuck the next movie was called, where he's like red and black. And then you had the next one, which was like the inverted black and gold suit. And then you had like a different one that was like his Avengers one. And it's like, I don't need 4 versions of this motherfucker's suit. You know how you solve this problem? You give him the one classic suit, and then when you upgrade the suit to get the fucking different colors, you just make each one of those a different suit. I don't need 18 versions of Tom Holland's dumbass suit. I would have much rather preferred other suits. Like, I would have much rather preferred, just off the top of my head, just different versions of Spider-Man. The Spider Carnage would have been cool. The Superior Spider-Man would have been cool. Ultimate Spider-Man would have been cool. The one with Doc Ock would have been cool. I think that's Superior Spider-Man, but that's the one where he gets taken over by Doc Ock. Like, there was so much more room to add cool suits instead of adding the same fucking 8 ones that we had in the first game because they want to, I don't know, put in MCU's version. Like, it's fine, you can, but don't add 8 versions of basically the same fucking skin. And then they advertised during the game, like before it came out, they were like, oh yeah, we have this many suits. We were like, we have 64 different suits with all these variations. It's like, no, you don't. You have 8 suits from Tom Holland that are all the same fucking suit. And then Miles' suits, I liked most of them. Again, I didn't play the Miles game, so I don't know how many of them are, like, reused ones. I assume most of them were reused because they already had the assets for them. Like, I know for a fact, and I'm just guessing, but I'm pretty sure I'm right in this. They obviously put in the Into the Spider-Verse one. They put in the the one he gets in the beginning of the game. They have the one when he's like training. They have the early version of the Into the Spider-Verse one. Like, I feel like a lot of them are repeated ones, but they were new to me, so it didn't really bother me that much. But if I had played Miles, I don't know if I would have changed my opinion. The next thing we have is side missions and collectibles. I didn't mind the side missions or collectibles. Much like the first game did a really good job at making collectibles and side missions like fun to do. Outside of like the Sable stuff. I think the Sable ones were the only ones that were like a pain just because they were more challenging. It wasn't like a pain in a bad way, it was just like I have to be more methodical, I have to think about this more. And a lot of times when I went to go do those, I ended up just not doing them because they were part of the DLC, so I'd already platinumed it at that point, and so I didn't feel the need to do it. But yeah, in this one you have drone hunts, which is the web wings. You have spider bots. You have the like ecological study things. You have the bases. You have spoiler alert, you have the symbiote nests. You have I don't remember. Oh, you have the photo ops, you have the Prowler stuff. All of these felt good. They weren't like, there never a time where I was like, oh, I have to do these. It was fine. 10 out of 10 on side missions and collectibles. The next thing we have to talk about are the different versions of the game. So, I'm not a huge fan of this trend in gaming recently where like, oh, you get exclusive stuff if you order the deluxe edition, or the collector's edition, or the fucking super collector edition. And each version you go up, it locks more and more exclusivity behind that version. So in this case, if you ordered the standard edition, you would not get the 6 extra suits from the deluxe edition, which is not how they handled it in the first game. I don't understand the business standpoint of that. I don't know if they needed to sell more deluxe editions or they need more money for this. I feel like they don't need more money for this because it's Spider-Man and Spider-Man sells pretty well. But in the first game, you could pre-order the deluxe edition or the collector. I have the collector's edition for the first game. That came with 3 suits or whatever. I think it was 3. It was 3 or 4. Already unlocked when you launched the game, but you could still unlock those suits by just playing normally. That's what they should have done for this game. I don't know why they're locking 6 different suits behind a paywall. That just doesn't sit right with me. I think, if anything, if there's going to be a trend that continues, I think the least evil thing is what Lies of P did, which was you just get 72-hour early access and that's it. Because that doesn't really paywall anybody. Like, yes, you can play the game 3 days in advance, but it's not giving you something of value in-game for doing so. And like, if you want to avoid spoilers, just stay off the internet for like 3 days. Don't go to fucking Twitter. Don't go to any social media outlet. Don't use this. Don't use that. Like, it's very easy to avoid spoilers for games. But yeah, I don't understand the decision between the deluxe and standard, but they need to stop doing stuff like that. Not just Insomniac, but like companies overall. The next bullet point is technical performance. Because this is a PS5 exclusive, it does run really smooth. I had no issues whatsoever playing the game. Web swinging felt great. I was in performance mode the entire time. I tweaked some stuff like film grain, motion blur, resolution, yada yada yada. Didn't notice anything that was like stressing the PS5. I didn't notice any like slowdown. I didn't notice any tearing. I didn't notice anything. Everything was super smooth, gameplay wise. There were some parts where playing the game, and I mentioned this in gameplay earlier, there were bugs. Like, there were far more bugs than I should have had for a $60, $70 game. I think in total I had like 15 to 20 different kinds of bugs in this game. And if you watch my playthrough, you'll know, because I say every single time I ran into a bug, I said, why did they delay this game if this game was going to be bug-ridden? Like, well, I don't think I said that exactly, but I said something along the lines of, why did they delay this game if the performance wasn't going to be as good? So that was a little weird, because they did delay this game, so we had to wait longer for it, and then it was still, well, at least in my experience, I still ran into a bunch of bugs and glitches and stuff that I don't think should have happened. Like, there was one point where I went to go do a app request, and I landed on the person, and I ended up landing in the person. I couldn't actually move or get out. I tried super jumping, I tried web swinging, I tried getting out. I couldn't. I had to restart and then go back to the same point because I got stuck inside the person. I don't know how you land inside a person as Spider-Man. I don't know the technical standpoint of like physics of like not landing in somebody versus landing in somebody. I had the glitch where the game was telling me as Miles to use a certain power. I clicked those button combinations. Nothing happened. I let go of everything. I clicked it again. Nothing happened. I spam clicked them. Nothing happened. I had to restart that section to do it again. Then I died. Got back to that point. Clicked that button combination. It didn't work. Had to restart again. Like, stuff like this is like, how did they not iron this stuff out? It feels like there was no QA team. Especially with the delay. Like, I don't know why they delayed the game. I don't know what it was to work on. But it clearly wasn't to work on overall, like, bugginess or making sure the game ran smooth. Don't get me wrong, I still love this game. But I would have loved it more if I had not run into all these problems. And before someone says anything, yes, I did download the day one patch. So on top of downloading the day one patch, which is supposed to quote-unquote fix a lot of stuff in a lot of cases, I still had like 15 to 20 bugs. I don't know if it would have been better if I didn't have the day one patch. I doubt it would have, but I'm sure they'll release another patch soon. I did also have this game crash on me 3 different times. I think 2 of them were caught in my playthrough, and then 1 was after I'd beaten the game and I was 100%ing the game. So again, I'm not a coder, I'm not somebody who works in game design, I'm not somebody who works in, you know, gaming, but these are a lot of technical problems to be running into for a $70 game that was delayed. I mean, best case scenario, me and only a small handful of people deal with this, and everyone else's game worked fine. But still, you should be striving for this to not happen to anybody. Which brings us to our final point, the overall score. So out of a 10, I'll do out of a 10 and then I'll do out of 100, so you get more of a accurate representation. So out of 10, I would give this probably an 8.5. And out of 100, that means 85 out of 100. Just because of all of the points I listed earlier, about the difficulty, technical performance, standard edition, skins. I think every single bullet point I had outside of collectibles and side missions, I had some caveat to it. Wasn't just positive. There was one slightly negative thing. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but the length, I know I did say it was like 22 hours for me at least to beat, which is kind of short. So if like you know, think this game is going to be a 40-hour, like 30-hour game, it's not. And I guess I'll throw in at the end, like, should you buy this game at full price? Honestly, that's up to you with everything I've said. If you want to get it at full price, go for it. If you're a die-hard Spider-Man fan, you probably already have this already. If you can wait, if you have other games in your backlog, go ahead and play those. Wait for this to go on sale for like, I don't know, like $15, $20 off. Get it then. Or try it out somebody else. Like, get it from somebody else. Borrow the game, you know, whatever. But personally, I think this is a game that, like, is probably more along the lines of Miles Morales. It felt more like a giant expansion, more so than it did an actual full game. I'm not sure if that's, you know, a bad thing or not, but for a $70 game, being only 22 hours, with all these technical performances, I can't in good conscience give this anything higher than an 85. And that's being generous. That's being super generous because I just love the symbiote stuff. And like, Web of Shadows was probably my favorite Spider-Man game before Marvel Spider-Man. And let's see, is that it? I think that'll be it for the review. So yeah, basically, if you really want to play it, go ahead and get it. Oh yeah, let me mention one thing. I don't know if they're gonna do DLC. They probably will, because they did DLC for the first game. But, you know, I don't want to go down this pattern of like companies rushing out a game, having it be short, and then releasing DLC that are going to be not that long. Because there's a... Well, spoilers if you care. There's a side mission chain that has to do with Yuri and this cult. And at the end of that side mission chain, they steal a symbiote, and the guy, the leader of the cult, one of his aliases is Cletus Cassidy. So that's setting up for Carnage, if you know anything about symbiotes and, you know, Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery. I feel like that's going to be a DLC. They're just going to do, like, Maximum Carnage and DLC. Because I can't imagine they would do it for the third game. Because they just did Venom. And then they're setting up... spoiler again. They're setting up Green Goblin, because Norman Osborn, towards the end of the game, said, get the G serum ready. So I don't know if they're going to go that route, where they set up the third game to be Carnage and Green Goblin. Which I guess they could, because they technically have fused before. They made Red Goblin, I think, was what it was. But I'd rather just see... I'd rather see no DLC, because the first game's DLC wasn't all that great. I liked the Black Cat one, but after that, the two after that I thought were kind of dog shit. I think that's just because I don't like Hammerhead. I think he's a C tier villain at best. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the review. So, summary, 8.5 out of 10. Buy this game if you really can't wait and really want to play it. Otherwise, if you have other things in your backlog, go ahead and play those. Wait for this to go on sale for like 20 bucks. Not on sale to $20, but like $20 off or something. Christmas is right around the corner. You probably get this for somewhat of a deal. But yeah, I think this is definitely for the overall length, because I think I 100% of this game in like 28 hours or something. It wasn't very long. I didn't spend that much time. It was very short. So take that as you will. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.